What if I told you that the space station you think China is building isn't the real one? Right now, as you watch this, engineers in Beijing are finalizing a hardware upgrade that NASA quite literally cannot match. By the end of 2026, the Heavenly Palace won't just be a laboratory. It will become the world's first orbital gas station for a telescope that makes Hubble look like a toy. Here is the impossible fact: we have spent billions sending telescopes like James Webb out to deep space. If they break, they die. They are too far to fix. But China is about to launch the Xuantian, a telescope with a camera so powerful it captures 2.5 billion pixels per image and has a field of view 300 times wider than Hubble. But that's not the shocking part. The shocking part is that it has a reverse gear. Unlike every Western telescope in history, Xuantian is designed to fly in the exact same orbit as the space station. When it runs out of fuel or needs an upgrade, it doesn't drift into oblivion. It simply pulls into the pit stop, gets fixed by astronauts, and flies away again. It is an immortal telescope. And right now, the West has zero defense against it. To understand why this upgrade is terrifying space agencies, we have to look at the baseline. For the last few years, Tiangong has been a T-shape, 3 modules, roughly 20% the size of the ISS. The narrative in the West has been, it's cute, but it's small. But while the International Space Station is currently fighting air leaks, cracked seals, and a mandatory retirement date of 2030, Tiangong is doing the opposite. It is growing. The Phase 2 plan, which was quietly confirmed in state media documents, involves expanding from 3 modules to 6. They are launching a new, multi-docking node that will attach to the front of the core module. This turns the T into a cross. This doubles the living space. It doubles the power generation. And most importantly, it creates commercial parking spots. This is where things get strange. The ISS was built using berthing, where a robot arm grabs a module and slowly bolts it on. It takes hours. Tiangong is built on rapid docking. These modules fly themselves in and click into place like Lego bricks in under 6 hours. They aren't just building a station, they are building a dynamic, shape-shifting fortress. I'm about to reveal the commercial cargo secret that is about to undercut SpaceX, and the truth about the artificial gravity experiments planned for Phase 2. But if you want to stay ahead of the future while the rest of the world catches up, hit that subscribe button. We decode the space race every week, and you don't want to miss our breakdown of the nuclear moon base. The story of this upgrade begins with a leak, not of air, but of information. In late 2023, observers noticed a change in the official renders of the Chinese space station. The simple T shape was replaced by a double T or cross configuration. At first, Western analysts dismissed it as a long-term dream. But then, the hardware started showing up. The CMSA confirmed that the backup core module, Genha 2, was being repurposed. Originally, it was just a spare part on the ground. A just-in-case backup. But now, it is being retrofitted to become the anchor for the expansion. They realized that with the ISS retiring, there would be a vacuum in low Earth orbit. If they could expand Tiangong before 2030, they would be the only landlord in town. So, they accelerated the timeline. Instead of waiting for the 2030s, the expansion launches are now targeting the 2026 to 2027 window. This isn't just about adding bedrooms. It's about adding factories. The new modules are dedicated to something the ISS struggles to do at scale, in-orbit manufacturing. We are talking about fiber optic cables that can only be made in 0G, perfect protein crystals for pharmaceuticals. While NASA is trying to hand this over to private companies like Axiom, who are still years away, Tiangong is ready to open the factory doors now. But the manufacturing is just the appetizer. The main course is the Xuantian. Let's break down why this is the checkmate move. Space telescopes have a fatal flaw: the better they are, the heavier they are. To fix them, you need a space shuttle, which we don't have, or a robot, which is incredibly expensive. We kept Hubble alive for 30 years because we could fly up to it. When James Webb launched, we held our breath. If one mirror failed, $10 billion would be wasted. We can't reach it. China looked at this dilemma and chose a third option: co-orbital flight. The Xuantian telescope doesn't stay attached to the station, which would vibrate and ruin the images. It flies a few hundred kilometers behind it. It does its science, mapping dark matter, surveying 40% of the sky. But when it needs fuel, it flies to Tiangong. When it needs a better camera in 10 years, it flies to Tiangong. This effectively gives China a forever telescope. They can upgrade the sensors every 5 years, keeping it state-of-the-art for decades. NASA has no plans for a co-orbital telescope. The Roman Space Telescope, launching 2027, is going to L2. If it breaks, it breaks. The flexibility gap here is massive. But just when you thought the monopoly was purely governmental, here comes the commercial twist. Meet Qingzhou. For years, China used the Tianzhou cargo ship. It's great, but it's a truck. It's heavy, expensive, and burns up on re-entry. You can't bring science back down with it. In late 2025, China selected the winner of its commercial cargo contest. The Qingzhou is a reusable, commercial cargo shuttle designed to undercut costs. Sound familiar? It's China's answer to SpaceX Dragon. This shuttle is designed to bring cargo down from the station intact. This is the missing link for the space factory. If you make perfect fiber optics in space, they are useless unless you can get them to Earth cheaply. With the station expanding, factory, and Qingzhou launching, delivery truck, China is building a complete supply chain in orbit. Meanwhile, the US commercial stations are still largely PowerPoints and prototypes. So, here is the brutal question. The ISS is retiring. NASA is betting everything on private companies to fill the gap. China is betting on a massive, state-run megastation. In 2030, if you were a scientist from Brazil or Sweden, and you wanted to send an experiment to space, who do you call? Option A, the expensive US private station. Option B, the massive, state-subsidized Tiangong. I genuinely want to know your prediction. Is the US strategy a mistake? Let me know in the comments. This isn't just a hypothetical. It's already happening. While the US focuses on the Artemis Accords with its traditional allies, Tiangong is opening its doors to the rest of the world. Pakistan has confirmed they are sending an astronaut to Tiangong. Experiments from Peru, Mexico, and Saudi Arabia have already been selected. China is effectively building a Space United Nations of the Global South. By offering cheap access to their expanded station, they are building soft power that will last for a century. This matters because space technology trickles down. Satellite tracking, crop monitoring, weather prediction, China is becoming the provider of these services for half the planet. But don't count NASA out yet. Competition is the best fuel for innovation. The Apollo program only happened because of Sputnik. The expansion of Tiangong is terrifying to strategists, but it is exciting for humanity. The pressure from Tiangong is forcing the US to speed up. It is forcing SpaceX to get Starship operational. It is forcing Congress to pay attention. We are entering a new golden age, where two superpowers are racing to see who can build the best home in the stars. But while low Earth orbit is getting crowded, the real race is shifting further out. China has just moved up the timeline for their Mars sample return mission, aiming to beat NASA to the red planet's soil by 2 full years. Can they do it? That's our next investigation. Thanks for watching. The sky is no longer the limit. Keep looking up, and I'll see you in the next one.